I would get out a sheet of paper and write down for email, for cold call, and for objections, what are the objections that I give people, and what do I really want to happen? And now you have the Bible, so to speak, of crap that you cannot say. Because if you say that, they'll say, send me an email, and you'll say, what should I include in that email? And they'll be like, oh no, man, just send over some case studies, because they have no intention of reading it. You put your time into putting the case studies together, and you send over the case study, and then they don't read it. So you need to pattern interrupt at this point in the cold call to root out the real objection, because if you don't, that call is not going to work in your favor. So I think through, we all know them for the sales emails that I send, just bubbling this to the top, just circling back, just following up here. Happy Monday. Hope Memorial Day went well. COVID became a pattern for salespeople. Hope you and your friends or you and your family are safe during these uncertain times. And I would think through that is the Bible of things that you cannot say, because you will be seen as a salesperson, which is the most harmful thing to you in the sales process. So in terms of how you can handle these, so for objections in specific, and this is the fifth piece of the cold call, is objections in specific, I'd be asking myself 2 questions about objections. We're all going to be running into the same ones. Not interested, not the right time, send me an email, no time, no budget. Those are the basic ones. Using a competitor, I'd ask myself 2 questions about objections. Number 1, is this real or shallow? Real being defined as they believe it. Shallow being defined as it's just a blow off. And number 2, is this objection valid or is it invalid? Valid being defined as it's correct. Invalid being defined as it's not correct. It's incorrect. Some objections are real, meaning they believe it, but they're invalid, meaning it's not correct. So oftentimes, I was selling my last company. I was selling a CI software, and I would hear all the time of like, no, man, we're using Outreach. And I'm like, well, Outreach isn't really our competitor. It's real though, meaning they were telling me the truth, of what they thought. So these are the first 2 questions I'd be asking about any objection. Is it real or is it shallow? Or is it valid or is it invalid?